Good morning. It is January the, what is it, 15th? 16th? 16th. January the 16th, that's what it is. It's a Monday, so taking a walk along the creek. Looks cloudy, so it may stay fairly dark. Sunrise is in about 45 minutes, 40 minutes, somewhere in there. So it'll start to get light as I walk, but starting here in the dark and hopefully focused. It's always hard to tell in the dark. It doesn't seem to like to stay focused in the dark. Slippery. Get down the crescent there. Start of a new week. I didn't walk over the weekend. I intended to yesterday, but time got away from me and I just didn't. I hope I've got the microphone in a slightly different place. It's not really pointed at my mouth, but it is closer, so hopefully it's working okay. Yes, so I worked quite a bit over the weekend, and in fact I published another book yesterday, or Shadowpaw Press published another book, but that's a distinction without a difference. Dolly Bird by Anne Lazurko, who's from down Weyburn Way, my old stomping grounds. It came out in 2013, originally from Coteau Books. It's a historical novel set in 1906 Saskatchewan about a young woman, daughter of a doctor in Newfoundland, who gets pregnant and is shipped off to the wilds of Saskatchewan by her disapproving mother, especially. Has to make her own way there, and after what money she has gets lost along the way. And anyway, she becomes what's called a dolly bird, which is not a term I'd ever encountered until this novel came along, but at the time, apparently, young women who might be housekeepers or they might be whores, and sometimes both. So she becomes a dolly bird. She's just a housekeeper, but it has a lot of stigma attached to it. And then, of course, she's pregnant, so yeah, Dolly Bird. It's a good book. It won the Willett Award for historical fiction when it came out and was a finalist for the Saskatchewan Book Awards. And now it's out in a new edition from Shadowpaw Press, or will be as the week progresses. It takes a while for it to filter out to all the bookstores. It should show up on the ebook on Amazon today, and the print will come along shortly. So that took a good chunk of yesterday. I have a book I'm doing a manuscript evaluation for the Saskatchewan Writers Guild that I have to finish reading. So I'll be doing just some reading today on that. It's a science fiction novel. It's quite good. A lot better than some things I've evaluated over the years. I don't think I mentioned the temperature. It's -8 Celsius. So that's, what would you call that? Maybe high teens in Fahrenheit. Yeah, about 16 Fahrenheit, I guess, something like that. We've had a very mild, by our standards, January. Not thawing mild for the most part, but not double digits cold either. Yeah, we're not going to see much of the sun, I don't think, looking to the east. It's a little brighter over there, but that's about all you can say. Here comes our first dog. Morning.
Morning.
I think I actually got around the lake on Friday without seeing a dog, if I remember right, which is very unusual. Maybe the only time that's ever happened. Interesting light right now. And I hope it's more or less in focus. Yeah, I could probably get another check of the focus right there where it's quite bright in the distance. Still a few Christmas lights here and there. Why that house looks purple. And some hoarfrost on the trees I can see. Still, or again, comes another dog. And somebody just walking. He was moving purposefully, probably headed to work somewhere. Morning. I'm just going to follow a very standard path today, one that I often follow. Just along the creek and then back. Might even be back before the sun's up. Well, probably not, but shortly after the sun is officially up, I should be back. Somebody down there getting ready to go. Okay, over the footbridge. View to the east, where somewhere the sun is rising. And the view to the west, where it is not. It's kind of a darker band of cloud over there. I don't know if there's any precipitation. Oh, you can see though that there's hoarfrost is still, especially when the light shines through it there. It's a hoarfrost still on the trees. It's quite magical here underneath. Looks like the sun, but it's not. It's just a street light. Now, if anything was going to mess up my focus, it was that, so give it another poke. So there's the creek. Here's the path along the creek. Quite a busy week. We have something 3 of the 5 nights this week. All kind of social events, not anything. Well, tonight is my very good friend Robert Urson, who's a brilliant composer and artistic director for Do It With Class Young People's Theatre that my daughter performed with, and was also her voice teacher, and he was best man at my wedding. He's doing a recital of his own work tonight at Westminster United Church, accompanied by Rachel Andrist. Rachel Andrist is a Saskatchewan pianist, but she has been she's worked all over the world as an opera repetiteur, which is, you know, the piano player you have doing rehearsals, and a recitalist and all of that. And she's back, and so she's accompanying him, and he's performing a selection of his own compositions, which is not something he does very often. And he's a very, very good composer, so, and singer. So, looking forward to that. Celebrating his 60th birthday in this fashion. I should think about my 65th. It's only a year and a half away now. What will I do? I know, get older. I hope. I'd rather get older than not get older. That's for sure. There's the waterfall park over there, but there's nothing to be seen there this time of the year. Except snow and ice. But we can see that anywhere. The light changes color depending on the screen, depending on the street lights. Lots of bright light over there in the park, waterfall park. And Tuesday night, we're members of the German Wine Society, and they have dinners here and there. And Tuesday night, we're going for Korean barbecue, I believe. Plus German wine, of course. And Thursday night, there's a kind of a meetup of local businesses I'm going to. And I feel like there's something else I've forgotten, but all those things are coming up for sure. This thing over here has lights on it year round. So they look like Christmas lights, but they're also there in the summertime. And the building's connected to the baseball diamond there. Which will not see baseball for a while yet. So far, nobody has said hello this morning. If you're there, say hi. Or not, it's up to you. I'm walking either way. Tomorrow, likely I'll be going downtown again, like I often do on Tuesdays. I need to go to the drugstore again. Some pills to pick up. Also, what fun, there's a colonoscopy coming up, so I have to get the prep materials for that. Can't wait, so much fun. I had to get a new family doctor. Mine, Dr. Stuart McMillan, retired. He's been my doctor since I moved here in 1988. So that's going to be weird. But I do have somebody. I'm having my first meeting with him. No specific complaints, just so that we know each other and he can get whatever information he wants to have about me. I haven't even met him. He was recommended. We have a friend who goes to him and said he was very good, and she said she'd ask him if he was taking new patients, and I don't know if he is a lot, but she must have talked me up well enough for him to take me on. It's kind of very fortunate because it can be very hard to get a family doctor. If you don't get one, you have to rely on walk-in clinics, and of course then you've got a different doctor every time and no continuity. So I had to get the pertinent medical records from my old doctor, which he prepared for me. And I'll take those in when I go on Thursday, then I'll be switched to a new doctor. Unless something comes up before the end of February, I would still go to Dr. McMillan. If that were the case, I think. But I don't expect anything. Knock wood. I don't have any wood, but I'm not going to walk over and knock a tree, but come up to Elphinstone up here. Always looks brighter in the dark because the camera adjusts. So it looks brighter on the screen than it does to my eyes right here. And at times it looks brighter to my eyes than it does on the screen. Really busy right now because of the time of day, so we'll definitely want the walk light to go. Here to Les Sherman Park. Everything's been scraped recently, so there's big piles of snow along most of the roads in this neighborhood. Then when we do get a little warmer weather, and there is one day coming up when it's supposed to go to freezing, but then later in the month, it's back down into double digits. Not bitterly cold, but colder than it has been for the last couple of weeks, just by a few degrees. As winter drags on, could very well be another bitterly cold snap in February. By the time you get to March, that's less likely. By the time you get to April, things start to melt more reliably. By the time you get to May, it's usually gone. This is a particularly unfortunate year. Need to get a haircut too. If not this week, then next. I'm headed off to Seattle 2 weeks from Wednesday for 3 days for a publishing conference, Pub West, on behalf of Saskabooks, the Saskatchewan Book Publishers Association I'm currently vice president of. Not that I've done a thing as vice president. We're supposed to have a board meeting coming up, but I haven't seen the date yet. Anyway, so that'll be interesting. Fairly easy to get to from here. Direct flight to Vancouver, short hop to Seattle, and then reverse to come home. Provided the airlines don't let me down, that'll be fine. And although Saskbooks will only pay for economy flight, business class was cheap, so I bumped myself up, paid a little extra to enjoy business class to and from Vancouver. Not a tremendously long flight from Vancouver, not as long as you might think. Nowhere near as long as to Toronto. I think it's only about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Okay, looking west off of this bridge. And looking east. Again, not a lot of sign of the oncoming daylight except for the slightly brighter light. Don't think we're going to get a pretty sunrise. And still nobody has said hello this morning. Sunrise is at 9:52 this morning, so that's about 7 minutes earlier than on its shortest or latest, which was probably the week after Christmas or first week in January. Sunrise got to 8:59. Never quite makes 9 o'clock, and then it starts to go the other way. However, we've noticed the days getting longer in the evening quite a bit. That's where you notice it first. So they are getting longer. The days are still shorter than the nights, though, and will be until the equinox, which is March 21st, of course, start of spring. Again, this path only winds for aesthetic reasons. It's not the shortest distance between 2 points, that's for sure. Kind of surprised I haven't run into anybody here yet. Everybody I met was further back. There's usually a dog walker somewhere along here, but not this morning so far. If you get a chance and haven't seen it, go back and look at Friday's walk around the lake. It was really, really pretty. As the sun came up, there were clouds in the west that turned pink. So you had this beautiful pink background with the trees starting to be lit up by the eastern light. Really, really pretty. Not that this morning is unpretty, with that touch of hoarfrost on the trees and the kind of pale blue light. Grayish blue, bluish gray. Oh, must be getting brighter because that street light just went out, and you saw it live here on Walking in Regina. This one's still on. Quite bright enough for that one sensor, wherever it is. Oh, here comes a dog. See, I knew we'd run into one somewhere along here. Oh. Morning.
Hello.
Hope you saw the snowshoe hare there. He didn't quite know what to do. He looked at me, then he looked at somebody coming, and finally decided to make a break for it. The dog was very good. He showed interest, but didn't try to go after him. That rabbit's over here somewhere in the snow, but this is certainly the time of year when their camouflage works. In the fall and spring, when they're white against brown, not so much, till they turn brown in the spring. Don't see him. We will actually leave the creek down here once we get down by the bridge. I'll be walking back way over there. Again, right up here is a place where if you want to walk onto the ice, you can, but unless it's a well-beaten path, I won't, because it's always deeper snow than it looks. I really don't want snow in my boots. I have done it. Oh, there's another rabbit. They're in the, right here. You can go down there and see what it looks like. Somebody has crossed the creek here. I won't go any further. I think I would break through the snow there, but here we are, standing on the creek, looking at the Pasqua Street Bridge. I can see holes further along that little bit of beaten path, which means somebody broke through and it's much deeper than it looks. So it's got to be at least as deep as this on the ice. Haven't gone under the bridge recently. Kind of stuck if you go over there. It's hard to get off the path. At least I don't know what the various possibilities for getting off the path look like right now over there, so I just haven't tried it yet. Here to Pasqua Street. They plowed that out. Don't know why. There's nowhere to go except step onto the road. Okay, we're away from the creek. Now walking north. Sask Express over there in the old school. Performing arts organization, school. They have classes, do shows, have a touring group. Young people. I don't qualify anymore. Had I grown up in Regina, who knows? Well, I don't think my parents would have put me into stuff like that, but that aside, had I had the opportunity to do more performing stuff, although most of the young people stuff didn't exist when I was a kid. I'd do it with class, and Sask Express did, and I did audition for them. But although I could sing up a storm, had absolutely no talent at dancing. And I was already fairly old when I did that. I was in my 20s. They were looking for the winter touring group, which was often older people. Maybe they still do that, I don't know. But my lack of dance training or ability, I'm definitely not a triple threat. I'm a double threat. I can act and sing. I can't dance, don't ask me. Okay, have they cleared this path? Do I want to walk along here is the question. Oh, it looks like it's probably been cleared enough to walk on, so we'll stay on this side today. Continues to lighten up over there where the sun is. Trust me, somewhere over there. And I continue to have nobody saying hello to me this morning. I feel so alone. Poor me. I have seen some numbers up there for people watching, so I'm not really alone. I never get that many people watching live, just a handful. The videos themselves, between people who watch the archived live stream and the ones who watch the high resolution one that I post, which of course has no buffering, it's its main reason for that. If there is any in the live stream, it's not in the recording. Most of the videos now are getting over 100 views, with some for some reason it'll get more, like thousands of views. Not tens of thousands, but thousands. Like my walk in St. John's got a lot. There's one I did from downtown at twilight that gets a lot. One I did in a snowstorm that gets a lot. And I'm up to about 685 subscribers. So 315 away from theoretically monetizing walking in Regina. For some definitions of monetize, because it wouldn't be much. Not at the bare minimum. I have the viewing hours, I just need the subscribers. So, subscribe, tell your friends to subscribe. Everybody subscribe. You could buy me a cup of coffee. Heading up more. It'd be brighter than this if it wasn't cloudy. We're walking along 15th, if you're wondering. And on the homeward bound, I wish I was, and we are, homeward bound. As I said last week, where my coffee lies waiting silently for me. Or will be once I make it. Football, soccer field over there. Soccer, I guess. But could be used for football. Which, of course, soccer is football to much of the world. More of the world than to which it is soccer. There's the field. You know, it'll just be different. Maybe I'll keep going down 15th today, then go down Elphinstone to college. I haven't done that path for a while. So we won't walk down by the Neil Bockwell Center today. We'll just keep going here. Distance should be the same. So the Neil Bockwell Civic Arts Center is down there. We're going to run up here to Elphinstone. Cross at the light. Right, garbage pickup day today. I did lug all that out yesterday. And then recycling on Wednesday. Recycling is always every 2 weeks. Garbage is every 2 weeks in the winter when it's cold. And when it warms up, it'll be every week. Right now our garbage is frozen, so leaving it for another week doesn't make much difference. This has been a brisk walk, I can tell, because I'm breathing just a little heavier than sometimes. Can still talk though. Were I jogging, I wouldn't be talking. But I gave up on jogging. Did it for a while. Was impressed with myself I could do it. This same path I would jog. And then, but every time I did it, my knees would get stiff and sore, and I thought, that can't be good. I'll switch to walking. And then I realized if I could live stream it like Walking Commuter in New York, who's the guy that inspired this. You can still find him walking around Manhattan. And the rest is history. Or at least an awful lot of videos. Now, this is Elphinstone. Once the light changes, we will cross over. And we'll go right down Elphinstone here to my right. When I was jogging, I loved getting to this point because it was downhill. Because you're headed down to the creek. So this whole stretch is noticeably downhill. Especially when you're jogging. Older, smaller houses along here for the most part. Nice big trees along here though. Looks like I'm going to run into somebody. Some sidewalks are better cleared than others. Guy may have crossed to avoid me. I don't know why else you would cross there. Something to hide, maybe. Looks suspicious. He was all wearing dark clothes and balaclava, and trouble is that describes half the people in Saskatchewan at any given day in January. There's a barrier. I don't know why. No obvious reason. Same with this one. I normally walk down that side, but we'll walk down this side today. Because I don't normally walk down this side of College. To get around the corner, sidewalks are better cleared. Sun should be up in about 3 minutes. But I don't think we'll notice a huge change. As it gets higher, it'll go from bluish gray to just gray. Whitish gray, I guess. Very pink house over there, which always pops out in the snow. And over there you got a blue one and a green one and a gray one, so adds a little color to things. Ours is white, I'm afraid. Lots of color on this one, which is a very strong shade, dark blue. There's an orange one around here somewhere. Oh, that's back further. I didn't think to point at it at the time, but we did go by it. This one is very, very blue with purple trim. A bold choice. Still some Christmas lights there. This is another strongly colored. Not quite as vibrant, but still a dark blue over here. This one has white trim. Always has nice Halloween decorations, this one. They have this wall. If you go back to my Halloween walk, you'll see that. I think they had nice Christmas decorations too when I walked out here. There's also one of me walking around the neighborhood looking at Christmas lights. I think it's pinned actually at the moment on my channel. Might move the walk around the lake with the hoarfrost from last week. Might pin that one instead because it's really pretty. Although the first part of it's kind of out of focus because it was so dark. I know the people who live there. Been in that house. And I know the fellow that lives here. Been in that house many times. There's a yellow house. Oh, someone finally said hello. Hi, Kirk in Vancouver. This one's dark gray. Has those interesting patterned walls up there on the, what do you call those things? Dormers, I guess? Or is that on the inside they're dormers? I don't know. Here's our crescent, Angus. Walk down that and we're home. Also downhill from here, back when I was jogging. You turn right, start jogging down Angus Crescent. It's noticeably downhill from up here on College. At one point there was a railroad line that ran along College. And there's still kind of a hints of the embankment, I think. There's a four-way stop, so good place to cross too. Okay, our home crescent, almost home. My wife says that's a very nice house inside, but I haven't been in. Very sharp roof on that one. Snow doesn't stick to those roofs the way it does to the others. It has this cute little archway over here. All right, and then up here we have this one with the candy cane post in the front. If you look past the big truck, if you're Canadian, you'll have heard of Tommy Douglas, father of Medicare. He lived here when he was premier. Been in that one. Met him, as I often point out, in his later years when he came to Weyburn, which is where he started his career as a Baptist preacher and then politics. Just that once, but I did meet him. heard him speak. Took a picture of him for the newspaper, opening the door of his old church, which was still where it was originally then. It's since been moved up to South Hill in Weyburn, and it's called the T.C. Douglas Center for the Performing Arts. It's turned into a little theater, which I performed in. So I have a lot of connections in a way to Tommy Douglas. And here's our corner where we will stop. Don't share his politics, Tommy Douglas, but he was a nice enough guy to meet. I doubt I would have voted for him. But he didn't need my vote, for one thing. I hadn't been born yet. The time I met him, he was long out of politics. Okay, we'll stop here. Thanks for walking with me. Probably walk downtown tomorrow, most likely. And remember, subscribe and get your friends and neighbors to subscribe too. If I can get to 1,000 subscribers, I actually start making money. So, not much, but I would make some. So, think about that.